The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like angry insects. Maya Thompson stood in the conference room at Richardson Manufacturing, surrounded by 12 colleagues who suddenly found their shoes fascinating. Marcus Richardson, CEO, leaned back in his leather chair with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Effective immediately, Maya's salary will be reduced by 30%. His voice carried across the silent room. Restructuring. Company needs. You understand? Maya's fingers tightened on the paycheck stub she'd just received. The paper crinkled but didn't tear. 6 years of perfect ledgers, of saving this company from bankruptcy, of arriving early and leaving late, erased with a signature and a smirk. Her colleague Jennifer shifted uncomfortably. No one spoke. No one looked at Maya. Marcus's eyes fixed on her, waiting for a reaction, waiting for tears or anger or resignation. Maya gave him none of it. She studied the pay stub instead, her accounting mind automatically scanning numbers even through the shock. Then she saw it. A routing number in the deduction line. It didn't match the company's standard codes. Maya's breath steadied. Her hands stopped shaking. She folded the paper once, twice, and slipped it into her blazer pocket. Emerald green, the color her grandmother always said meant growth through adversity. Understood, Maya said quietly. Marcus's smile widened. He'd expected her to break, but Maya Thompson had just found something far more interesting than her wounded pride. She'd found a thread, and she was very, very good at following threads. Maya Thompson was 34 years old and invisible in all the ways that mattered at Richardson Manufacturing. She'd built their accounting department from chaos into precision over 6 years. The woman who transformed their hemorrhaging finances into sustainable profit. The senior accountant who never missed a deadline, never made an error, never complained about the 70-hour weeks. She lived in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in the suburbs with her daughter Jasmine, age 8. Single mother, no family nearby. Dreams of opening her own firm someday. Deferred, always deferred. Because stability mattered more than ambition when you had a child depending on you. Richardson Manufacturing produced industrial supply equipment, valves, fittings, custom metal work. Mid-sized company, 70 employees, annual revenue around 40 million. Marcus Richardson had inherited it from his father 3 years ago. The old man had been tough but fair. Marcus was neither. He'd never earned anyone's respect. He demanded it instead, wielding his title like a weapon. His corner office displayed his college football trophies and his father's awards. None of his own. Maya arrived at 7 every morning. The office building was red brick and unremarkable, surrounded by a parking lot that flooded when it rained. Her desk sat in the accounting department's open floor plan. No privacy, no walls, just cheap cubicle dividers and the constant hum of computers. She'd transformed this place. When she started, the books were a disaster. Vendor payments missed, payroll errors weekly. The company bleeding money through incompetence and disorganization. Maya had fixed it all. Built systems, trained staff, saved them. Marcus's father had thanked her once awkwardly at the holiday party. "You're the best hire we ever made." Marcus had inherited the company 6 months later. He'd never thanked her for anything. Her white colleagues earned more for doing less. She knew because she processed the payroll. Jennifer made 15% more with 3 years less experience. Tom in procurement made 20% more and couldn't reconcile a basic ledger. Maya never complained. She documented everything instead, kept records, waited. She hadn't expected this. A pay cut so blatant, so public, so designed to humiliate. But that routing number, that didn't belong. The quarterly review meeting had started normally. Marcus had presented revenue numbers, Maya's numbers, though he never credited her, and discussed expansion plans. Then he'd shifted in his chair, that predatory smile appearing. "We need to discuss compensation restructuring." Maya had felt the room's energy change. Jennifer had glanced at her nervously. Tom had studied his laptop screen. Some positions are being reassessed for market value. Marcus opened a folder. We've determined that certain roles are overcompensated relative to industry standards. He'd looked directly at Maya. Maya Thompson, senior accountant. Current salary $78,000. New salary $54,600. 30% reduction effective immediately. The silence that followed was suffocating. Maya had waited for him to continue, to explain that others were affected too. He didn't. Questions? Marcus had asked, his tone daring her to challenge him. Maya had kept her voice steady. Can I see the market analysis that justifies this? That's proprietary information. Marcus closed the folder. HR has your updated contract. Sign it by Friday or we'll consider it a voluntary resignation. Jennifer had shifted again, mouth opening like she might speak. She didn't. No one did. Some people aren't worth what we're paying them, Marcus had added, eyes still locked on Maya. You're lucky to still have a job. Nervous laughter had rippled through the room. Not from everyone, but from enough people to make it clear no one was going to defend her. Maya had stood, professional smile fixed in place. I'll review the contract. As she'd walked out, Marcus had called after her. Maya, make sure those offshore vendor payments get processed this week. The ones I sent you yesterday. Confidential. Don't loop in anyone else. She'd nodded without turning around. Offshore vendor payments. That phrase now glowed in her mind like neon. Back at her desk, she'd opened her email. There it was. Marcus's message from yesterday morning. Process these payments discreetly. Direct transfer. Don't create normal vendor records. I'll handle documentation. She'd processed them because that's what you did when your boss gave direct orders. But she'd thought it was strange. Everything about it violated standard accounting protocols. Now with the pay stub in her pocket, those payments felt like something else entirely, something criminal. Maya sat in her car in the parking lot, engine off, hands gripping the steering wheel. The pay stub lay on the passenger seat where she'd thrown it. Through the windshield she could see the office building, red brick, ugly, ordinary. Her prison for 6 years, 30%. The calculation ran automatically in her head. $1,600 less per month. Jasmine's after-school program cost $300. Rent was $1,200. Car payment, insurance, groceries, utilities. The math didn't work. They'd be underwater in 60 days. 6 years of excellence erased. She thought about Jennifer's averted eyes. Tom's silence. The nervous laughter that had felt like knives. No one had defended her. Not one person. Maya's phone buzzed. A text from Jasmine's school. Tuition payment due Friday. $450. The rage that surged through her was white-hot and clarifying. She wasn't going to cry. She wasn't going to beg. She wasn't going to accept this. She picked up the pay stub again. That routing number stared back at her. She'd processed thousands of transactions in 6 years. Every bank code, every routing number, every vendor account, she knew them all. This one was foreign, not in the company's standard banking relationships. Maya pulled out her phone and opened the Notes app. She typed the 9-digit number. Then she opened her laptop. She always kept it in her car because she often worked through lunch, and logged into the company's accounting system. She searched the routing number. 3 matches. All from the past 6 months. All labeled vendor consultation fees. All flagged by Marcus as executive discretion. No standard processing required. That wasn't how accounting worked. There was no such thing as executive discretion in financial reporting. Every transaction needed documentation, vendor verification, and audit trails. Maya's hands had stopped shaking. Her mind sharpened into the focus she recognized from late nights, fixing impossible ledgers. She wasn't scared anymore. She was hunting. Maya's grandmother had raised her after the accident. She was 11 when her parents died. Drunk driver, intersection, no warning. Grandmother Ruth had been 65. A night janitor at downtown office buildings, arthritic hands and steel spine. They'll underestimate you, Ruth had told her every morning before school. Black woman in America? They'll think you're nothing. Use it. Ruth had taught her numbers at the kitchen table, how to balance a checkbook, how to read financial statements, how to see patterns in chaos. Numbers don't lie, Ruth would say. People do. But numbers tell the truth if you know how to listen. Maya had worked 3 jobs to pay for community college, then state university. Graduated with honors in accounting. Applied to 50 firms, got 3 interviews. 2 rejected her. 1 offered her half what they paid white graduates. She'd taken it anyway because Jasmine was 2 years old and daycare wasn't free. Richardson Manufacturing had hired her at 28. The company was dying. Old man Richardson knew it but didn't know how to fix it. His previous accountant had quit after discovering the books were a catastrophe. Vendors unpaid, tax filings late, payroll chaos. Maya had fixed everything. Renegotiated vendor contracts, established payment schedules, built financial systems from scratch. Within 18 months, the company was profitable again. Old man Richardson had pulled her aside at the holiday party. You saved us, he'd said, voice rough with emotion. I won't forget that. He'd died 4 months later. Heart attack. Marcus had inherited everything. At the funeral, Marcus had stood by the casket, dry-eyed, checking his phone. Maya had stood in the back, remembering the old man's gratitude, knowing it died with him. The first thing Marcus changed was the office culture. He hired his cousin for HR. He promoted his college friends to management. He started calling Maya girl instead of her name. When she corrected him once, he'd laughed. So sensitive. The microaggressions accumulated. Comments about her hair, questions about whether she really had the qualifications for her position. Assignments given to less experienced white colleagues while she was relegated to data entry. She documented everything, kept a detailed log with dates, times, witnesses. Because grandmother Ruth's voice lived in her head, keep records. They'll protect you when nothing else will. Maya hadn't expected vindication. She'd expected survival. Keep your head down, do excellent work, provide for your daughter. But that routing number changed everything. This wasn't just discrimination anymore. This was fraud. And Maya Thompson was very, very good at following money trails. Maya waited until 7:30 that evening. The office had emptied by 6. Marcus always left by 5:15, speeding away in his silver Mercedes. The cleaning crew didn't arrive until 9. 2.5 hours of silence and access. She sat at her desk, the overhead lights humming their fluorescent song. Her login credentials still worked. They wouldn't deactivate those until after she either signed the new contract or resigned. She had until Friday, 3 days. She started with the routing number from her pay stub, pulled every transaction that used it. 17 matches over 2 years, all labeled vendor consultation, executive discretion. Total value, $1.2 million. $1.2 million in payments that bypassed normal processing. Maya's heartbeat accelerated. She opened the vendor master file. No matching vendor. The routing number led to an account registered to a shell company, Thornhill Consulting LLC, Delaware registration. No website, no business history. She searched Delaware's business registry. Thornhill Consulting LLC was registered 18 months ago. Registered agent Patricia Whitmore. The name tickled something in Maya's memory. She opened her personal phone, searched social media, found Marcus Richardson's profile, public because he loved attention. Photos of him and his wife at galas, on vacation, at football games. His wife's name, Melissa Richardson, née Whitmore. Maya's breath caught. She cross-referenced. Patricia Whitmore was listed on multiple business registries as an attorney in Delaware. Specialization, corporate formation and asset protection. The firm's website showed her face. Older woman, severe expression, corporate headshot, Melissa Richardson's mother. The shell company was registered in Marcus's mother-in-law's name. The routing number led to an offshore account. The payments all came from Richardson Manufacturing's operating funds, disguised as vendor consultations. Marcus wasn't just racist. He was stealing, embezzling company money through a fake vendor, routing it through his wife's family, hiding it offshore. Maya sat back in her chair. The office was absolutely silent, except for the hum of her computer. Her mind raced through the implications. This was federal fraud, tax evasion, embezzlement. If exposed, Marcus wouldn't just lose his company, he'd lose his freedom. She thought about that smirk this morning. You're lucky to still have a job. He'd cut her pay to hide the missing money, to balance the books, to make his theft less visible in the quarterly reports. He'd humiliated her to protect his crime. Maya's phone buzzed. Text from Jasmine. "Mommy, when are you coming home? I miss you." She typed back, "Soon, baby." Very soon, Maya began downloading files, transaction records, bank statements, email chains where Marcus discussed confidential vendor relationships. She copied everything to an encrypted drive. Every piece of evidence, every thread of the pattern. Her grandmother's voice echoed, "Numbers don't lie." People do. Marcus Richardson had lied to everyone. But the numbers told the truth. And Maya Thompson was listening. Maya requested a meeting with Marcus the next morning. Professional email. Subject line, quarterly report, discrepancies. She'd learned long ago that the word discrepancies made executives nervous. Marcus's assistant scheduled her for 10 a.m. Maya arrived with a leather portfolio and the calm expression she'd perfected over 6 years of microaggressions. Marcus sat behind his massive desk, framed photos of himself with local politicians lining the walls. He didn't stand when she entered. Didn't offer her a seat. "This better be quick," he said. Maya opened the portfolio. She'd prepared carefully, showing just enough to rattle him, not enough to reveal what she truly knew. "I noticed some unusual vendor payments. Thornhill Consulting. I can't find corresponding invoices or contracts." Marcus's face flushed. The color started at his collar and spread upward. "Those are executive-level consultations. Confidential. We're required to maintain documentation for all payments over $10,000. Audit compliance." Maya kept her voice neutral, educational. "These payments total over $1 million. I need to file them properly." "You don't need to do anything except what I tell you." Marcus leaned forward. His knuckles whitened, gripping the desk edge. "You're already on thin ice, Maya. Don't make this worse for yourself." Maya placed 3 printed transaction records on his desk. Not all 17, just 3. Dated, highlighted, clear as daylight. "I'm just trying to do my job correctly, sir." The "sir" landed like a blade, respectful and cutting simultaneously. Marcus stared at the papers. His hand trembled slightly when he reached for them. He tried to hide it by making a fist. "Leave these with me. They'll handle the documentation." "Of course," Maya stood. "I just thought you should know." In case the auditors ask. She walked to the door. Behind her she heard Marcus exhale, a long shaky breath of someone realizing they've been seen. "Maya?" His voice stopped her at the threshold. She turned. "That new contract. Sign it by Friday, or don't bother coming back Monday." Maya smiled, small, polite, unreadable. "Understood." She left the documents on his desk. Let him wonder what else she knew. Let him panic. Fear flickered behind his arrogance now. She'd seen it in his eyes. Good Maya arrived at 7 a.m. the next morning. Her badge wouldn't scan at the entrance. The little light blinked red instead of green. She tried again. Red security guard Mike approached, looking uncomfortable. "Miss Thompson, I'm going to need you to come with me." Her stomach dropped. She followed him through the lobby to her desk. A cardboard box sat on the empty surface. Her nameplate, her photo of Jasmine, her coffee mug, all packed. The drawers hung open and vacant. Marcus Richardson stood in the doorway to the accounting department. His cousin from HR stood beside him, holding paperwork. "Effective immediately, your employment is terminated." Marcus's voice carried across the silent office. Everyone had frozen at their desks. Insubordination. Violation of confidentiality protocols. What protocols did I... Security will escort you out. Marcus nodded to Mike. HR has your final paperwork. 2 weeks severance. Sign the release and you'll get your check. Maya looked around the office. Jennifer sat at her desk, tears streaming down her face, but she didn't speak. Tom stared at his monitor. No one met Maya's eyes. No one defended her. She picked up the cardboard box. Her hand steady despite the rage burning through her chest. Mike gestured apologetically toward the door. Maya walked past cubicles filled with people she'd trained, past the conference room where she'd been humiliated 2 days ago, past Marcus Richardson, who stood with his arms crossed triumphant. She stopped beside him, close enough that only he could hear her next words. "I know about Thornhill Consulting," she whispered. "I know about Patricia Whitmore. I know everything." Marcus's face drained of color. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. Maya continued walking. Mike escorted her through the lobby, past the red light scanner into the parking lot. Into the bright morning sun that felt nothing like freedom, her badge deactivated. Her job gone. Her reputation destroyed. But in her car's trunk, hidden in a locked briefcase, was an encrypted drive containing every piece of evidence she needed. Marcus Richardson had just made a catastrophic mistake. He'd given her nothing left to lose. Maya's apartment felt smaller in the daytime. She sat at the kitchen table, surrounded by bills she couldn't pay. Electric, water, rent due in 18 days. Jasmine's tuition notice, bright yellow, urgent final. Her severance 2 weeks' pay conditional on signing a release that included a non-disclosure agreement and a non-disparagement clause. The message was clear. Take the money. Stay silent. Disappear. She thought about signing it, taking the check, moving on. Finding another job before the money ran out. Except there wouldn't be another job. Marcus would make sure of that. She'd seen it happen to others who challenged him. Quiet phone calls to industry contacts. Poisoned references, blacklisting. Jasmine came home from school at 3:15. She dropped her backpack by the door and climbed into Maya's lap like she used to when she was smaller. "Why are you home, Mommy?" "I don't work there anymore, baby." "Because of that mean man." Maya hadn't told her, but children knew things. They heard phone conversations, sensed tension, read their parents' faces better than any adult. "Yeah, because of the mean man." Jasmine hugged her tighter. "Grandma Ruth used to say mean people always get what's coming." The words hit Maya like lightning. Her grandmother's voice filtered through her daughter's memory. Mean people always get what's coming. Ruth had said that, usually while scrubbing floors in office buildings, watching executives walk past without seeing her. Ruth had been invisible too, but she'd been watching, always watching. Maya looked at the laptop on the counter. The encrypted drive sat beside it. Evidence, documentation, the truth. She thought about the easy path. Sign the release. Take the money. Survive. Then she thought about Jasmine growing up in a world where people like Marcus Richardson faced no consequences, where racism and theft and cruelty were rewarded with silence. Maya stood up, Jasmine still in her arms. She walked to the window. The afternoon sun painted everything gold. "Grandma Ruth was right," Maya said softly. "Mean people do get what's coming. Are you going to give it to him?" Maya smiled. "Yeah, baby." Maya spent that evening making calls. First call, Daniel Chen, a former colleague who'd quit Richardson Manufacturing 8 months ago after Marcus passed him over for promotion, despite having the most seniority. Daniel had written a scathing exit interview that HR buried. "I always knew he was dirty," Daniel said when Maya explained. "I just couldn't prove it. I can prove it." Maya sent him encrypted files, transaction records, the shell company registration, bank routing trails. Daniel went silent for 30 seconds. When he spoke again, his voice was tight. "This is federal. You need lawyers, real ones." Second call, Lisa Brennan, civil rights attorney. Maya had researched her for an hour, Prominent cases, strong record, Harvard-educated. Black woman who'd made her career holding corporations accountable. Lisa listened without interrupting. When Maya finished, she asked one question. How clean is your evidence? Immaculate. Send it, encrypted, I'll review tonight. Third call, FBI Financial Crimes Hotline. Anonymous tip. Shell companies, offshore accounts, Delaware registration. She gave them everything except her name. Planted the seed, Lisa called back at midnight. This is airtight. Embezzlement, tax fraud, wire fraud. If you're willing to testify, we can bury him. But Maya, he'll come after you. Character assassination, retaliation, this won't be easy. Maya thought about that cardboard box, the security escort, the silence of her colleagues. Marcus's whisper, you should have known your place. I know my place, Maya said. It's watching him fall. Lisa's voice warmed. Then let's build the case. Over the next week, Maya and Lisa compiled everything. Daniel provided fragments he'd saved, emails where Marcus discussed hiding expenses, texts about keeping certain transactions off the books. Lisa contacted the FBI formally, requested an investigation, provided preliminary evidence. The FBI agent assigned, Special Agent Rodriguez, called Maya directly. Ms. Thompson, we'd like you to come in. We have questions about Richardson Manufacturing. Maya walked into the federal building on a Tuesday morning, not as a fired employee, as a cooperating witness. She told them everything, showed them everything, walked them through 2 years of fraud, transaction by transaction. Rodriguez leaned back in his chair. How did no one catch this sooner? Because no one was looking, Maya said, and the one person who could see it got her pay cut and fired when she got too close. Rodriguez nodded slowly. Ms. Thompson, we're executing a warrant tomorrow morning. I need you to prepare for this to get ugly. Maya thought of Jasmine's hug, her grandmother's words. The years of being invisible. It's already ugly, she said. Now it gets honest. The federal agents arrived at Richardson Manufacturing at 8:15 on a Thursday morning. 5 agents, 2 forensic accountants, 1 warrant signed by a federal judge. Marcus Richardson was in his office when they knocked. His assistant's scream echoed through the building. Maya walked in behind them, not in handcuffs, not terminated. As the cooperating witness whose testimony had secured the warrant, the office went silent. Jennifer gasped from her cubicle. Tom's coffee cup slipped from his hand. Every face turned toward Maya. The woman they'd watched get escorted out 2 weeks ago, now returning with federal authority. Agent Rodriguez addressed the room. Everyone remain at your desks. This is an active investigation. Do not delete files, do not make phone calls. Marcus emerged from his office, face red with rage and panic. What the hell is this? Federal warrant for financial records. Rodriguez handed him the document. Suspicion of wire fraud, embezzlement, and tax evasion. Marcus's eyes found Maya. Pure hatred. You did this. Miss Thompson is a cooperating witness, Rodriguez said. She's here to help us access the relevant files. Maya walked to her old desk. Someone had reassigned it, but the computer still held her login as backup administrator. She sat down, fingers steady on the keyboard. Maya helped me set up in the conference room, Rodriguez said. The conference room transformed into a command center. Laptops, printers, evidence boxes. Maya connected her encrypted drive to the FBI's secure system. Rodriguez projected the first transaction record on the wall screen. Thornhill Consulting LLC, Maya explained, her voice clear and professional. Shell Company registered to Patricia Whitmore. Marcus Richardson's mother-in-law used to funnel $1.2 million from company operating funds to an offshore account. She clicked through transactions. Each one appeared on screen with dates, amounts, routing numbers. He disguised them as vendor consultations. No invoices, no contracts. He ordered me to process them without documentation. When I questioned the discrepancies, he cut my pay 30%. When I investigated further, he fired me. Marcus's lawyer arrived within the hour. Expensive suit, leather briefcase, practiced calm. My client denies all allegations. This is harassment. Rodriguez opened a folder. We have his email authorizing the payments. We have the shell company registration. We have bank records showing the money trail. He looked at Marcus. We have everything. Maya pulled up the final piece. Marcus's email from 3 weeks ago. Subject confidential. Body process these offshore payments. Do not create standard vendor records. I'll handle documentation. Delete this email after. She'd never deleted it. She'd archived it. The email projected on the wall. Marcus's name in the sender field. His words incriminating him completely. The color drained from his face. His lawyer's expression flickered, doubt replacing certainty. Jennifer appeared in the conference room doorway, shaking. I have something. She held out her phone. He texted me last week, told me to deny that Maya ever raised concerns about accounting irregularities, told me to say she was incompetent if anyone asked. She played the voicemail, Marcus's voice clear and damning. Jennifer, if anyone questions Maya Thompson's firing, you tell them she was terrible at her job. You got that? Back me up or you're next. Rodriguez accepted the phone as evidence. Thank you, Ms. Jennifer Park. I should have spoken up before. I'm sorry, Maya. Maya met her eyes, nodded once. Tom came forward next, then 3 others, each with their own evidence of Marcus's corruption, racism, intimidation. The dam had broken. Marcus Richardson stood in his own office building, surrounded by federal agents, his lies projected on conference room walls, his employees testifying against him. He tried one last time. You can't prove. We can prove all of it. Rodriguez gestured to the evidence filling the room. Marcus Richardson, you're under arrest for wire fraud, embezzlement, and tax evasion. The handcuffs clicked. Marcus's eyes found Maya one final time. She stood by the window, backlit by morning sun, emerald green blazer sharp against the light. She didn't smile, didn't gloat, just watched as agents led him away. Justice didn't need theatrics. It just needed the truth. And Maya Thompson had always been very, very good at finding the truth. The trial lasted 4 months. Marcus Richardson's lawyers fought hard, but the evidence was overwhelming. Transaction records, email chains, testimony from Maya, Daniel, Jennifer, and 6 other employees. The shell company, the offshore accounts, all of it laid bare in federal court. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. Guilty on all counts. The judge sentenced him to 8 years in federal prison, ordered restitution of $1.2 million plus penalties, revoked his business licenses, banned him from corporate leadership for life. Richardson Manufacturing was sold to settle debts and restitution payments. The employees received severance packages. Jennifer got hired by the acquiring company. Tom found work across town. Maya received the whistleblower compensation, 15% of recovered funds, plus her discrimination settlement, plus back pay for the stolen wages. She used the money to open her own firm, Thompson Financial Consulting, specializing in minority-owned businesses, fraud detection, and ethical accounting practices. Her office occupied the 10th floor of a downtown building with floor-to-ceiling windows. Natural light flooded the space. No fluorescent buzzing. No cubicle walls. Jennifer was her first hire. I should have defended you, Jennifer said on her first day. I won't make that mistake again. You defended me when it mattered, Maya replied. That's what counts. Daniel joined a month later as senior auditor. The 3 of them built something different, something honest. Maya hired 3 more accountants over 6 months, all people who'd been overlooked, underestimated, pushed aside by corporate systems. She paid them well, treated them fairly, built the company her grandmother would have been proud of. Jasmine visited the office after school. She'd sit at Maya's desk, doing homework while her mother worked. One afternoon she asked, "Are you happy now, Mommy?" Maya looked around her office. Her team, her company. Her name on the door. Yeah, baby. I am. On the wall behind her desk hung a framed photograph. Grandmother Ruth, young and strong, standing outside the office building she used to clean. Maya had found it in an old album. Below it a small plaque. They'll underestimate you. Use it, Ruth Thompson. Every morning Maya read those words. Every morning she remembered where she came from, who taught her, why it mattered. Marcus Richardson was in prison. His company was gone. His reputation was destroyed. But Maya Thompson was building something that would last. Maya stood at her office window as the sun set over the city. Gold and crimson painted the buildings. Below, people rushed home from work, carrying briefcases and dreams and burdens. She thought about that routing number, 9 digits that changed everything. Most people would have missed it. Would have accepted the pay cut, signed the release, disappeared quietly. But Grandmother Ruth had taught her to see what others missed, to look closer, to trust numbers when people lied. Excellence is powerful when it's noticed, but excellence that's underestimated, that's dangerous. That's the quiet weapon of people who've spent their whole lives being invisible. They learn to watch, to document, to wait. Marcus had thought he was invincible, thought his position protected him, thought a black woman with a pay cut and a cardboard box would just disappear into silence and shame. He'd underestimated her. Fatal mistake. Justice isn't always swift. Sometimes it's methodical. Sometimes it takes patience, precision, and the courage to risk everything for what's right. Maya had risked everything. Her job, her reputation, her financial security. But she'd won something greater than safety. She'd won the truth. Her phone buzzed. A text from a prospective client. A black woman who'd been fired after reporting sexual harassment. She'd heard about Maya's case. Wanted help building hers. Maya typed back, "Come to my office tomorrow. We'll talk." Behind her, Jasmine played with Jennifer's daughter in the break room. Their laughter echoed through the space. The next generation, growing up in offices where women who looked like them sat in positions of power. Maya touched the photograph of Grandmother Ruth, the woman who cleaned offices, but taught her granddaughter to own them. They underestimated both of us, Maya whispered. Big mistake. The city glowed in the dying light. Somewhere in a federal prison, Marcus Richardson was learning that arrogance has a price. Somewhere in the world, another person was discovering that the people you dismiss are often the ones who see you most clearly. Maya Thompson had been invisible for 34 years. Now she was unforgettable.